You're listening to The Front Porch Show. Some shows are niche shows, talking about specific topics. Others, shows about nothing. This show is the show about everything. On The Front Porch Show, we'll talk about current events, some news, a little bit of politics, along with a whole lot of life. Welcome to our Front Porch. 1-402-799-1811. That is the message line number. You are live with The Front Porch Show. Another quarantined edition. Practicing our social distancing.
This is going to be it's going to be the quarantined edition till 2022.
No.
We're going.
No.
Pretty much.
No. I refuse, gentlemen. I refuse. We've got Ozzy over in
You gotta listen to the Who.
over across the way. We've got Jeff with us, and Tombstone is absent.
Yep.
If you are joining us on on YouTube, you may actually have video this week. I don't know. We're gonna see if it works.
We're sorry if we break your screens.
Yes. He's
Don't
we do apologize in advance for any technical difficulties
stare at
our
us
faces
too
cause.
long.
Right.
Don't stare.
The sheer awesomeness will make you go crazy.
Well, it's like looking at the sun, guys. You don't want to look at it too long. You kind of just want to glance at it or not.
We need another eclipse because I figured out in the last eclipse, if you only stared at the moon, you didn't go blind.
Yes. Folks, in case you were wondering, Ozzy is
Don't.
blind.
Don't do that. Please don't do that. Guys, 2 more years of this? 2 more years?
I
don't
saw
know,
some
man.
article somewhere where they were talking about that. They were like, this is all going to have to continue till 2021, maybe 2022.
Between my governor and then Michigan's governor, they are going to be crazy. I think honestly, I think the last 3 states that are going to be going is going to be Michigan, then it's going to be my state, and then it's going to be New York. I think that's going to be the last 3 states to open up.
And the one that probably really only needs it is New York City.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. That and North Jersey, because everybody commutes to New York City from North Jersey. So
Y'all got some draconian stuff going on there. And see, so I live in Nebraska. Our governor has merely done strongly worded suggestions.
yes.
No requirements,
So
I guess.
how many people total live in your state, and how large is it?
What is it? 1.2 million, I think. I don't know. And it's bigger than New York.
You
Right.
have
So-
the minimum. You have the minimum number of representatives, I do believe. So
Well, we do.
not many.
We have 2 senators and 3 representatives.
3.
Oh no, you almost have 2 million.
Do we have almost 2 million?
Yes, it's 1.934.
Thank you, Omaha, for swaying those numbers.
Now
So-
we'll see when these new census
have-
numbers come in. Where
you
you're
have
actually
like
at.
1/8 of the population of my state and about like 10 times the amount of land.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hence, a one-size-fit-all approach
Doesn't work.
coming down from the federal government would not work.
Okay, so guys,
We're getting into that early on.
CNN this week, I think it was Wolf Blitzer, declares on the news
Good old Wolf.
that the president has no authority, or that the president had the authority to shut down the entire nation with one word. He could have said
War.
to shut it down. Word.
War.
He said
war.
we could just shut it down. And then the next day, was it Anderson Cooper? Someone else there was like,
Wait, what was the word?
when he wants to open it back up. I don't know what the word was, but he could
Oh.
shut it down with a swipe of his pen. Remember, Trump has a phone and a pen.
No, that was Obama.
Oh wait, wrong president. Anyways,
No. Obama had phone, pen, drones.
It was actually a pen and a phone, but if we're gonna get it in the right
oh,
order.
oh, that's right. Well, so the first guy, I don't remember if it was Wolf Blitzer or not. Someone said, "Oh, well, he should just shut down the country." And then all of a sudden, when he wants to reopen the country, CNN says he doesn't have the authority to do so.
I don't think he does he?
What's amazing?
I don't think he has the authority to do either.
I think that's all state authority, right? Like specifically set up that way.
What's amazing is depending on the minute, CNN is either the most libertarian or the most statist organization, depending on who's saying what in the White House at what moment.
That's true.
Well, it's so flip-floppy, but it's not just CNN. It's really all the news organizations. I mean,
True, Fox can be just as guilty because
even Fox has turned on him, which is interesting because everyone seems to think that Fox is the figurehead of the conservative right.
Well,
that's
now
their flagship news station. It's like
now
it's
a Trump station. That's but they are turning on him some. But I mean, that's the thing. You've watched Fox News get increasingly less conservative to support the Republicans and the president at this time, and you've watched CNN and MSNBC get increasingly more "quote unquote" conservative in the stances they take to go against the president.
So you either watch the Fox or the Wolf. Which would you prefer?
Neither.
The porch.
The hard-hitting news from the front porch.
Look at that. Look at that.
Now, I just want to clarify.
We even have a news ticker going on now. So we are all official if you're watching the video stream.
Right. It's officially official. Yeah, we're trying out some things, having some fun. I need to work on some graphics, but
trying to best the large companies
while
they're down.
I figure if we can not only have good quality video or audio, we could also have good quality. We can't see you that way. Thank you. If we can have good quality audio, we can also have good quality video. And
I keep thinking that too.
Well, not with your face.
No.
That was excellent.
But no, I don't know. It's worth a try, and
the video is going to make this so much funnier because of the random things that we do that everybody can't see.
It's going to make it less funny because we've got to stop doing the random things we do that people can't see.
Put your shirt back on, man. Put your shirt back on. I don't know what you're... No, Ozzy, stop. See, now everyone's going to go run to the YouTube and watch the YouTube.
They're not. They're not. That's not going to convince them to do that.
You don't think so?
No.
Well, I mean,
now when Tombstone's on, that's going to be a unique experience.
if he brings back that hair that he says he's bringing back.
Is he going to bring it back? Is he bringing back the Kim Jong-un?
No. He's bringing back the floppy curly fro.
The mullet?
The fro. He posted on Facebook the other day.
What?
He had a picture. He said summer 2020 bringing back both this hair and this physique. So he's trying to lose weight and grow out the hair.
Now look, guys, one of those things is going to happen.
The hair. Maybe.
One of those things is going to happen, and it's not going to be the physique.
Oh, man.
Guys, we're practically middle-aged right now. It doesn't happen.
Yeah,
I'm not practically middle-aged.
We can't even actually follow through on attempting to do a weight loss challenge.
No, we can't. Well, look, Jeff.
Or the what was the 0.5K?
It was the 0.5K. Guys, the government put the kibosh on that.
The government shut down the 0.5K.
The government destroyed that for us. The government.
Let's go protest.
Okay, Jeff, I got to ask you about that. Did you protest in Lansing?
I was not there. I found out about that the day before it was happening. I got invited to some group on Facebook, and I haven't actually even joined the group yet. I just got invited to it, and I see some of the stuff. And I didn't know enough about it or the organizers of it or really have time to even plan to go to it, so I did not attend it. I kind of like to know what I'm joining in before I just grab my pitchfork and join.
Well, before all of a sudden you show up and you find swastikas and
exactly. Right. Now this was not that, and I found out about it so last minute. I was like, this is going to be 4 people at the Capitol honking their horn trying to do Operation Gridlock, and no, they had the roads shut down around the Capitol for the most part. Now comes the counter. You get all the people crying and whining and accusing that they blocked all the roads and ambulances couldn't get through and doctors couldn't get to work and they were disturbing patients in the hospitals in Lansing. And so they were causing more issues. But then you have the counter arguments, and I've seen stuff straight from state representatives that say, no, actually, everyone left a lane open. They left the entrances open. And you see pictures where like the street is blocked, but the entrance to the hospital is open. The guy that runs the one like head doctor at the hospital or whoever runs the one hospital that people were claiming that an ambulance was blocked from, they said no, everyone got to work, nothing was blocked, no ambulances were blocked. So it seems to be that it's your typical instant bleeding heart. You know, if Antifa was burning down half the city, they would be like, these are just good people that are upset with these Nazis in charge. But you know,
since they're not.
But since it's people with their, you know, honking their horns. Now, the thing is people still don't know how to look smart. Like, because it was quickly put together.
I need you to explain this a little better.
Yeah, I want to know.
People don't know how to be smart when they protest. So, first off, some people are right saying that it looked more like a Trump rally than a protest because you got a lot of people with their Trump flags in their trucks. You've got people like the idea was, since you're technically supposed to social distance and all this stuff, stay in your vehicle, gridlock the streets around there and honk your horn and let them know you're there. You had lots of people getting out of their cars and standing out on the lawn with signs, not social distancing, not wearing masks.
What signs were there? Was it like Trump sign, Trump MAGA?
There was some Trump stuff. There was also signs specifically about just lifting the lockdown and you know, recall Whitmer and whatever. There was one big sign. I forget it. There was one big sign that was specifically about the lockdowns and stuff. There's a picture. I actually hadn't confirmed that it was from there, but it definitely looks like it's legit and from there, where someone has like essentially painted down the side of their truck. I think it was actually like more pro-Trump than just about the shutdown, but with misspelled words. And so you know what I'm saying? You've got your classic like bumpkin, you know, which I don't know, I'm trying not to offend people, but like you have people that just, they have a lot of passion but not a lot of sense when they're,
you know, that seems protesting. To be very, very, very prevalent right now.
Yeah. And no, because I haven't unfortunately been able to participate in some, but like there's different states I've lived in. There's like a yearly firearms rights rally, if you will. And because it's every year and it's a year-long thing and it's by a reputable organization, it's planned all year. The only thing that would make it, you know, people think that people look crazy are people open carrying weapons. So if you're someone that thinks a guy open carrying his rifle at this rep, but it's not wandering around to a McDonald's doing it on a random Tuesday. It's there for the rally. And that's kind of the purpose of the rally. So you get your classic news shots where they see this slightly overweight guy carrying his rifle with a vest on, and
slightly overweight.
Crazy.
Yeah,
that's normally knocking on death's door. Overweight.
True, some of them are. But as far as the organization of it and no stupid signs and everyone being calm and polite and cleaning up after themselves, like those things usually go down without a hitch. This was probably a little different.
I just came to the realization because I'm looking at pictures of the rally and different signs and stuff like that, and most of them are like, you know, we need to get back to work and you know, yada yada yada, all that stuff. And then you see the signs, it's like flatten the curve, not the Michigan economy. So I'm actually genuinely curious on how this has impacted the flat Earth movement. Because
flatten the curve.
They must be picking up people left and right.
There were probably a couple flat earthers out there. I don't know. But that being said, what was funny to watch some of the people on Facebook, like quote unquote violently react, like just their instant reaction of these terrible people. How would you like it if one of your family members got sick? You obviously don't know anyone that's sick, blah blah. You'd rather see people die. And it's like, no, again, why does everything have to be an extreme? If you're worried, if one of your primary focuses is the economy and the economic impact and all the second, third order effects on lives that's going to have, Why does it instantly have to be you want all the elderly people to die? And then for the same token, if you're worried about the virus, why does it have to be that you just want to nuke the economy?
Yeah, agreed.
Because we've had some of this discussion back.
I've accused you of that, wanting grandma to die.
Yeah, exactly. You of wanting to nuke the economy. So it makes for, between us, it makes for fun banter during a random day of quarantine.
But yeah, neither one of us hold those extreme views. And in fact, I am, based on the information coming out now, especially out of Stanford, where they did that test on a huge portion of the population. Where was that? Hold on, let me bring that up.
There's been one in Germany. There's been one.
And so tests keep coming back suggesting that, based on the antibody tests, that let's see, where was this? This was Santa Clara, California. And they say between 48,000 and 81,000 residents of Santa Clara, California have already been infected with the coronavirus, based on a new study. They took a sample of 3,300 residents, did blood tests, and they found that most of them had antibodies. And so that suggests that the fatality rate, which is running at 5.2% of confirmed cases, that being the point, that being the very, very clear thing. Numbers matter in this game. Statistics matter. And this is what I've been saying, and this is what Jeff's been saying for the entire thing here, and maybe Ozzy too. I don't know, but I've been just arguing with Jeff. So,
yeah.
But it turns out that, like, even Iceland did tests that suggested that 50% of people were infected, and that they have no virus symptoms.
Right.
And so that would put the death rate down at around 0.12 to 0.2. So not even a percent.
Which is right about
comparable to the flu.
The flu. It swept in fast because it's new. It's novel. It's brand new. So it swept through fast. But in the end, once the herd immunity gets out there, it's probably going to end up kind of like the flu. Maybe, if these studies prove true. Now
there are caveats to this, and in this Reason.com article, it says one caveat that a rough calculation applying the Santa Clara infection fatality rate to New York City's 11,000 COVID deaths would imply is that essentially all the city's residents have already been infected with the coronavirus. And this seems implausible, they say at the end of the article.
Yeah.
So maybe, but what if they have been? What if they have been?
The thing is though, you got to consider, if it's a 2-week gestation period, and I know I'm literally saying the same exact thing.
Yeah.
It's 2-week gestation period, 2 weeks in New York City. Between I think New York City just alone has want to say it's like 8 million-ish or 9 million people. So you got that many people walking around for 2 weeks before somebody shows symptoms. And I think that it's plausible that at least most of those people could have been exposed to it.
And now one
possible.
thing,
just
one
because
thing,
of sheer numbers in the amount of space.
That, the other side of this Reason article and these other articles proving that basically lots of people have had it and lots of people are asymptomatic, is that until we reach herd immunity, until we have some sort of vaccines, if you want to get a vaccine for it or not, I do not think it should be mandatory. It should be up to each person. Is that because it's a long incubation period and it appears that most carriers are asymptomatic, that also means we can't just say, look, so many people have had it, it's not as bad as we thought, open everything up. Because you are asymptomatic and you may be giving it to people that are higher risk than yourself.
Right.
So you do have to be cautious of that.
Well,
again, not extreme. So this article shows that it might not be as overall bad in the entire population as we thought. But that doesn't necessarily mean go back to the way everything was before. But it does indicate that maybe we can start opening things up. And if you're a healthy person that's asymptomatic with no underlying conditions, with maybe some masks and some 6-foot social distancing, you can go back out in the world.
So I think the suggestion is like, we start opening up businesses. If you're sick or you're at risk, you stay home. Right. That doesn't seem too bad. And distance. So basically what my state is already doing.
Your state's been doing that before.
Just saying.
What are you talking about?
Basically, that's what my state is already doing, and that is our current strongly suggested argument.
That is currently what you moved to Nebraska for.
It's true.
Social distancing.
It's true. As I said, I'm a half mile from my closest neighbor, and I like it that way. I like it.
Yeah.
Now, this is still the opening segment, and it's gone on a long time, so we probably got to get out of here at some point. But we don't want to talk about the virus this whole time. It would be interesting to at least mention, though, maybe when we come back in, again, the weird conflicting information we're getting from things are getting worse, and we've got to increase the lockdown severity like has happened in Michigan. Well, at the same time, hospitals are literally laying off people because they're completely empty. So which is it?
Also, at the same time, you have Texas is going to start opening back up next week. So actually, I guess it'll be this week when this comes out on Monday.
Yeah. So when we come back, let's talk about reopening. Let's talk about the states still locking people down, wanting to increase the lockdown. Hey, we'll be right back.
Our Army manned the airport. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do. And at Fort McHenry, under the rocket's red glare, it had nothing but victory. It may get bigger. It may get a little bigger. It may not get bigger at all. We'll see what happens. But regardless of what happens, we're totally prepared.
Thank you, Donald. I'm glad to know we're totally prepared.
Are we, though?
We're not. Totally prepared.
Guys, so we've discussed the fact that some of us are in more draconian states than others when it comes to this whole lockdown stuff. What's going on in your states? I mean, is your state like trying to enact more stuff to lock down, or are you locked down enough? I mean,
I don't know.
I guess they're currently not enacting more, but at the beginning of this month, when they extended the stay-at-home order, they also increased it.
My guess for my state would be they're going to start opening stuff in June. That would be my guess.
That's so long. Okay, so Texas is supposed to be reopening the next week?
Yeah, they're supposed to start reopening a couple things. They are going to start with keeping people social distancing. They're going to start opening up the parks, and I think a couple of different businesses.
Okay, so it's kind of a soft opening, rather.
Oh, yeah. It's very small. It's not a whole lot, which it is a start. So, but they still want the masks on. They still want the social distancing, but it's steps to get things reopened. So
we have a mall here in Nebraska that is
still going to the mall.
Oh, an outlet mall. Whatever. What do you call those? Like where all the ladies like to go shop with all the stores, but all the access from the outside, and it's like
that would be an outlet mall.
Yeah, there you go, an outlet mall. Did I say that? I think I said that.
You said a mall.
You said a mall.
Hi. Nebraska has an outlet mall that is opening this week, and the owner was like, I've had enough. Done.
Yeah, but you guys aren't like forced to stay closed, though.
No, we're not. No.
It's only suggested.
It's a strong suggestion. So
just about to be mauled by a dog.
Yeah, this is in Gretna, Nebraska, over near Omaha, and they are planning to be one of the first malls across the U.S. that are fully open.
Interesting.
And
I bet people are going to be spending money like crazy.
Are they though?
I
do you
don't know
think?
About that.
What are the unemployment numbers right now?
Actually, yes, because they all just got their stimulus checks
right.
and
That's what I'm
don't
saying.
understand how that should be being used. And so they're like, pulling a John Ralphio from Parks and Rec.
Exactly.
I'm flush with cash. And they're just going to the store. And you like that? That was pretty good, actually.
I like that. That was really good.
I was impressed. I thought I was really gonna screw it up.
Yep, we did
too. But yeah, so they're just rolling in the dough, just dollar bills everywhere.
Dollar bills, y'all.
And so you're right. They may be burning a lot of cash in the next week or two.
That's what I'm saying is you have people that have not been able to spend money on things that they like. Amazon and now Prime, now they have cash and they're going to do it. It's the same thing with you have when people get back their check from taxes. If they get anything back from their tax refund.
Return.
Return.
Well,
sorry.
Refund. Yeah, refund's kind of refund means the same thing. It means the same thing.
Same difference. You have people that use it wisely, pay whatever they do, hold on to the money, but I would say a majority of people that I have seen and experienced just personally at work go out and they just spend it because they have the money.
Now, if you've, in defense of that, if you've kind of budgeted and done fine and you're saving all year and everything else is all on track all year.
Right.
And that money comes in as like an quote unquote unexpected, $1,000 all of a sudden, boom, you get back. So you go burn it on some small house project you want to do because it's outside of your normal budget and you have everything you need. Then that's part of the reason a lot of people do that. But there's a lot of other people
that need to hold on to
extra
that
money.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I hate to say that a lot of people are just, it's very questionable spending.
And this is why like government stimulus stuff, they complain about, there's an article here and the article was very light on details and I needed to dig deeper about supposedly the cuts and bailouts and stuff that richer people are getting that aren't getting the direct cash. But it drives me nuts when I see people complain that, all these lower income people should get more. When I seem to see a like you said, I see all these people go out and burn it. And it usually seems, this is anecdotal evidence, this is not an official peer-reviewed study, that the people who need the money most are the people that are going to go burn it at Home Depot or whatever, instead of paying the rent, paying the bills. Like I was against, this is not going to win me any fans here. I'm probably the most hated person on the show. I was against the idea of a stimulus because in principle, that's not the government's job. And all they're doing is taking your money to give your money back to you, or just printing money out of thin air, which is going to devalue the dollar. So either way, government stimuluses or stimuli, whatever, don't work. That being said, if they're going to give you the cash, you should use the cash wisely. And especially if you're getting the cash for the reason the government states is, well, everybody's out of work. This is their claim. This is a dramatic situation where everybody's out of work. People need to pay their bills. We don't need the whole country going bankrupt. So we're going to give you some money. Well, then use the money what it's for. Pay your rent, pay your bills. But here's the other side of it. And here's the warning for everybody, is at the same time the government's giving you a little cash to pay your bills, a lot of people are stepping up and being nice and deferring, or the government is putting laws in place to do this for them. They're deferring car payments. They're deferring rent payments. They're deferring loan payments, whatever. And so people are going, sweet, I don't have to pay my rent for the next 3 months and I got this cash. So I'm super rich. And it's like, you don't have a job and your rent or your mortgage is still going to come due. So still pay it.
You got that's you have to look at, you can't be short-sighted in it. That's the problem. Is a lot of people are, they're very what is it, like house poor, where it's like, okay, you have your house and everything, but you're barely making it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're living paycheck to paycheck.
And with that, I'm not saying that that's a horrible thing, but you got to be careful with the money. And now it's like, okay, all of a sudden you're getting deferred, you're getting all of these things. You got to be ready before payments to come, because it's gonna come. So just be really careful, be very wise with what you do. Hold on to it. If you don't need whatever it is, it's not something that's an immediate need, just hold on to the money. At the very least, it can burn a hole in your pocket, and then you won't have to, be in trouble later.
So I'm actually going to disagree with you guys.
Oh,
well, I know. I think I know in the way that you're going to disagree with us.
I believe that you should not be saving the money. I believe that you should be turning it into tangible items.
Okay,
that
which is the other thing I was going to add.
Could be potentially sold in the future if you need to. Because right now in our country, we've got a very funky financial policy, which is it's not very funky. It's just ridiculous, where we just print money and give it away. We just print it. And now that the Fed is combined with the Treasury now, they can do whatever they want. They can cook the books, and they can add an extra zero here or there if they want to, and it doesn't really matter. And so basically, we're looking towards a time of inflation coming up.
Right.
Very soon.
Absolutely.
Right.
And so the question is, how do you make that work better for you? And that's putting it into things or paying off. And actually, so here's the other thing.
Debt,
no.
Yeah.
Your debt in an inflationary situation, having debt is actually better than not having it at all, because in an inflationary situation, prices will go up, and also wages will also artificially inflate. Which means you'll have more money to throw at your debt, which means...
And your debt stays like the dollars you borrowed are the dollars you borrowed.
And
so
it seems...
You borrowed them as $2006, and you're paying them back as $2020, and $2020 are worth less, but they're going one for one. Especially if you've got a zero interest rate.
Right. Exactly. If you have a zero interest rate, it makes sense. Now, may I just say, this is not financial advice. This is not financial or legal advice by the Front Porch Show. Now, it may not be wise to do that. To Ozzy's groan point,
I understand.
It may not be wise, and I'm doing everything I can to get rid of some of the debt I have. But I'm also turning it into tangible items that I know I need if there's inflation in the future. So we actually use that money to throw at some purchases that we've been putting off for a while, like a rototiller.
I will be buying 100 gallons of milk in the next week.
Well, right.
Yeah, Ozzy bought toilet paper with his.
Can you freeze milk? That's a fun story we've got to get to later in the show, of the manager who went nuts on the guy who tried to return his toilet paper.
But to try to ease Ozzy's concerns and balance it with Mathis is right as far as the economic inflationary effect on the dollar. That if you borrow money and this year and 10 years from now the dollar's worth less, but you're paying it back 1-to-1. Now, for example, like I have a car loan that's 0% interest that we're making the payments on.
Hold on. What?
How did you get that?
Amazing credit and a good. We bought a brand new car, 6 years, 5 or 6 years, 0% interest.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It was. Trust me. We went looking for I
think mine was like 1.8 or something.
We went looking for a good used car.
No, I'm sorry, 2.8 or something.
We went looking for a good used car because we didn't think we could buy new, and we couldn't. We were looking for more of an SUV that my wife wanted. Couldn't find it in our price range. Told the guy what our payment price range was, and he was like, "Oh, I can get you into something in that payment range, no problem." And then we start talking. Yeah, 0% interest. Boom, no problem.
What in the world,
we got
man?
That a couple of years ago, yeah. And so I'm making the payments on the car. If you make the minimum payments, it'll be paid off in the term.
Yeah.
And it never makes sense to throw extra money.
No, it doesn't.
Because A, they're letting you stretch your payments for no cost.
Right.
B, the dollars you pay back farther down the road are worth less than the dollars you bought it for.
Right.
So that it's now when you're paying almost 10% interest on a student loan or something like that,
all of a sudden it's dumb not to pay it off.
That 10% interest, the inflationary effect is not going to make up that interest cost. So that's where you need to pay it off sooner.
If it's something that is a low interest rate, super low interest rate, great. If it's credit cards, which I think most credit cards are going to be
if you
way
don't
above
if you don't have
17,
0%, if you don't have
17 to
0% on your
something,
credit cards,
yeah.
Then
So
pay that
that's
Then pay it off.
that's my gist is get rid of the bills
Yes.
that are going to
Oh,
come
yeah.
that are going to bite you.
and
Get
and
rid of those,
and
which would
make
be
sure that
high
you can
student
pay your
loans.
bills. Make sure you
Right.
can pay your bills.
Right.
Like, don't be blowing the money if you have to pay your bills.
Right. Right.
You know,
And
the
thing is, if you can just take the government check, this is my theory is if you could take the government check and like we're paying off part of our credit card.
Yeah.
Right.
Genius.
So if you could take your check and you could pay off all of your credit card and all of a sudden you have an extra $200 a month in your pocket.
Yep.
It's brilliant.
That is a great investment.
Because then you can turn around and save that $200 a month because you've obviously been making it while paying that $200 a month. Hopefully, you've been making it.
Right.
So now you can turn around and save that or put that onto more debt.
Right. Right. Exactly.
That's kind of the question. So that's kind of the game I'm using with this again. Personally, principally, I kind of wish that the stimulus hadn't happened, but it did happen and I couldn't stop it. And depending on how you look at it, it's surprising the number of like libertarian folks that are actually kind of for this because they're saying, hey, it's just money the government stole from me that they're giving back to me. So it really depends on how you look at it.
Yeah,
but either
I think
way,
it's still going to bite us next year.
Oh, yeah.
It might. I got to read more into that. But long story short, it's there. They gave it to us. I guess I could turn around and pay it back to the government, but at that point, you're an idiot.
Okay.
So
here's another question for you guys.
Okay.
Everyone's talking. Just to continue your thought, Jeff.
Just cut Jeff right.
I know.
Off.
I'm sorry. To continue.
So much for continuing my.
To
thought.
continue your thought,
like
though.
Little whip puppy. There.
You mentioned. You mentioned. You know, every adult person got $1,200 a month. It's gonna bite us potentially in the future.
Yep.
$2,000 a month. They're talking about for the next 6 months through the duration of this thing.
It's
at this point,
again,
in the
I'm
words of Hillary
opposed to
Clinton,
it.
at this point, what difference does it make?
That was Bill Clinton.
Was it Bill Clinton?
Basically.
Oh no,
No, it was
sorry,
Hillary.
I'm mixing it up. That was Hillary. Clinton. That was Hillary.
No, Bill Clinton said I did not have sex with that woman.
No, he said, "What is the?" Depends on what the meaning of is. Or
well, that too.
Like
that too.
But you're right. At this point, what difference does it make? Was Hillary in reference to Libya, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, so what difference does this make? I mean, our fiscal policy is just ridiculous right now. Why not just cut checks to everyone? Who cares?
We'll see, and that's taking this unpopular stance. That's the mentality I'm trying to fight.
Oh, and I agree with you. I think it's ridiculous.
You're right. Technically, in the long run, if you view it as a lost cause, what difference does it make?
Now, okay, going off of that, all right, so say that they do this. Is this going to slow the economy so much from getting back to where it was?
Meaning stimulus?
Meaning it doesn't give people it doesn't give people the incentive.
Correct. You have no real incentive to get back to work. You have no real incentive to do, you know what I mean?
So that's the argument against universal base income, which I don't disagree with, but at the same time, do we think that people inherently want to actually do something?
No.
Like I don't know.
I think that's been proven no for a large portion of the population.
I hate to say, but you have so much stuff as far as like online. People don't like to interact anymore. There's I just from experience with people that I know that we hire every single year for summers and stuff, like a lot of them just don't want to work.
Well, it's
they
not
want
even
to get a
that.
paycheck, but they don't really want to work.
Yeah.
If it's more profitable to sit at home,
right.
I mean, that's true of everybody, I think, right? Like,
right.
At times we enjoy things we're doing, and so we kind of want to go to work. But long term, if you could get your paycheck and just work when you want to on what you want to, I think everybody would. If we're being honest with ourselves, everybody would like that. Some of us obviously realize the moral failings in, taking money but not doing anything to earn it, et cetera, et cetera. But you're right. It's like some of the unemployment stuff. For a lot of these people, it's more profitable to sit on unemployment than go back to a job. Now,
just horribly frustrating.
For the number of people that are out of their jobs, the stimulus, $2,000 a month would not replace.
It wouldn't replace all work.
My income. And so
not at all.
So yes, I would want to go back to work.
Well, right. And I think that's the thing is that all of us would like to. from a business standpoint, I figure I've lost 60% of my profits, or 60% of my revenue.
That's rough.
And that's hard. And I know other folks are looking at losing jobs, and
right.
It won't fix it, but it would certainly make things a little bit easier, I guess. And right. I'm not asking for that money. I don't even think it's a wise decision, but I understand that people are in the situation where they may need that. Right. I've got opportunities that open up all the time.
It's the
for
same
work,
thing.
So I'm not worried about it.
It's the same thing with unemployment. Unemployment is there when you need it, and I don't have a problem with people taking it when they need it.
Correct.
I don't have
You've
a problem
paid into
with
the system. You should
right.
get the benefit.
Well, your employer paid into the system.
It's a government mandated insurance program. Is
right.
what it is.
Right.
And
I don't have a problem with if you need it, take it. But the goal of it is to sustain you till you can get back on your feet.
Right, and it's to not stay on it forever.
And the hard part is if you keep pumping money and pumping money and pumping money, it takes away that incentive of trying to get back on your feet.
So here's a question for you guys.
Okay.
No, I'm to bounce off the unemployment thing. We're seeing that some states have higher unemployment rates than higher unemployment payouts than others. Some of them are like 50%. Yeah. Some of them are 80%. Some of them are other, some of them are anywhere in between. Now, the problem is that you've got like these 80% states that all of a sudden the government is adding an extra $600 a week to those unemployment.
Yeah.
And you've got people who are literally making more on unemployment right now
than people that are essential workers.
Right, and then people who are essential workers.
Right.
I mean, I don't have the luxury of not working. You got some people who are, and I don't even consider it a luxury. You've got some people who are staying home, who want to stay home because they're afraid of going out because of this virus. I don't have that luxury. Neither one of you two have this luxury. I mean,
not for very long. No.
No, we don't. And it's like, yeah, I'm staying home as much as I possibly can. But even from a business standpoint, as a business owner, I lose more money by putting people on unemployment, which is probably going to happen, which the unemployment insurance rates are probably going to go up anyways.
Probably.
Because everyone's putting people on unemployment. And so, like, from a business standpoint, I've got to calculate, is it smarter to furlough everyone? Or is it smarter to maintain? As I said, I'm losing 60% of my revenues right now. And is it smarter to maintain? Now, I was one of the lucky few who got in on that paycheck protection program, which scary as all get out.
More printer dollars.
More printer dollars when they cut me a rather large check to keep all my employees employed for the next 8 weeks.
Yeah, so when are our checks coming in the mail, by the way?
Yeah, I wish the Front Porch Show was into that. Too bad.
Yeah, because I mean, we've struggled with, having to get all of this stuff and our equipment in our homes and doing it separately instead of all
setting
being
up
in the
a
same
recording
state.
Studio.
I know, it's rough.
I mean,
guys.
I think I need at least like a new computer and some other things. So,
Well, that's not covered by the paycheck protection. So
I want a new job then.
Yeah, right. So
I mean, how much is unemployment off of $0 a week that we're investing?
Well, that's $600.
$600 at least.
$600.
Hey, all right.
$600 on top of what you would get. So yeah, I'm gonna file my unemployment for this show.
Right.
But unemployment.
Lay me off. I'll be a guest host.
Speaking of unemployment, I just looked at the numbers. So this week, U.S. Has 22 million unemployment
claims this week.
Yep.
That's new claims this week.
Crazy.
Or is that total?
I think that's total. I think that's total claims. Which is crazy. That is a crazy amount of people.
Yeah, I think it was 5.2 million this last week.
Yeah. 5.2 claim. 5.2 million claims. Yeah.
That's
22 million total so far.
And a lot of people aren't even getting their benefits right now.
Right, because they're having trouble with all the websites and everything else.
It is going to take years.
So how many people do you think are unemployed because of Unemployed.
My guess would be 22 million.
Like, no, but how many people aren't guaranteed a job when it all comes back together?
You're basically saying how many are going to be stuck unemployed because their job ceased to exist.
Yes.
I would say I don't know, half. I would say maybe a third or a quarter.
I would probably say that. Yeah.
That would be my guess.
See, the trouble is I was reading some interesting articles about this. One of the things that has allowed economies in modern time to grow at the rate that they're growing is specialization of skills, right? So back in the day, and I'm talking like Dark Ages day almost, everybody was just like a subsistence farmer, and then there was some royalty that had all the gold or whatever, right. And everyone kind of tried to do their own thing, make their own clothes, grow their own food, et cetera, et cetera. As we got into specialization of labor and monetary systems, now this guy doesn't have to worry about growing food. He makes clothing, and he sells the clothing or trades it with the guy who makes food, et cetera, et cetera. And now economies flourish because each person can specialize in their skill. We've reached a point, though, where
bartering has come back into play.
Well, almost every single, you know what I'm saying? Like every single job, especially since people are kind of with credit and everything else, it's easy to live paycheck to paycheck because if you know the next paycheck is coming, you can keep living at a higher level of living, a higher standard of living than you technically can support, as long as you know the next paycheck is coming. And so everyone is kind of in this paycheck to paycheck cycle, and the waiters are dependent on people buying food at the restaurants, who are dependent on people being able to work their job at, the Walmart, who are dependent on people being able to work their job at this store, at this store. So every single job is dependent on the other job paying their people. And when this shutdown happened, everybody laid their people off. So it's easy to think, oh, when this is over, everybody will go back to work. The trouble is where do you restart the demand cycle? Because everybody's out cash now. And that's what the government's trying to do, although I don't think it's going to be effective. And that's why I think what's going to take so long to spool up is you're going to have the few people that could financially survive this. They're going to keep buying stuff in certain sectors, which will increase the demand in those sectors, so those people can go back to work. And it's going to be a slow spool up.
It's going to be, I think it's going to be, and we're seeing this with farmers right now, that there's a lot lower demand for food items just because restaurants are not up and running.
Okay, what's with that, guys?
They're dumping milk. They're killing chickens.
Let's come back. We got to take a break. Let's come back and talk about that. I want to talk about what the current effects of this are on people, like dumping the food and stuff like that, because there's some crazy stories going on out there right now about that. And
that'll be our last segment for coronavirus.
And then I'm done with Corona.
We're beating this with a dead horse.
We've beaten
the horse with another dead horse. And we're going to do it again in the next segment. Be prepared.
We're back, gentlemen and ladies and children and folks who aren't sure what they identify as.
Oh, boy.
I'm trying to be all-inclusive, Jeff.
Tombstone at the Front Porch Show.
Yes.
.com.
.com.
Just wanted to make sure we
haven't used that in a long time.
No, we should. We should use that much more frequently. So restaurants, guys. A couple weird things are happening in restaurants. So I see this thing that came out the other day on Twitter. Restaurant owners were screaming that don't go through Uber Eats and stuff when you're ordering from a restaurant right now.
Okay.
Because they take a 25% surcharge.
From the restaurant or
from the restaurant?
Jeez.
Yeah.
Now, okay, then restaurant, don't partner with Uber Eats.
Well, yeah, agreed. And so they're saying, "Oh, buy straight from the restaurant right now."
You don't have to allow the Uber Eats or the DoorDash to partner with your restaurant.
You probably have to have a contract with them, and they're in the middle of the contract, so they can't pull out.
That's a good
True.
point.
That's probably what it is.
And they signed it when times were good, and now they're trying to torpedo
it. Didn't really matter, and all it made is more sales. Yeah, now that it does, it's coming back.
That makes sense.
What's funny is if you order directly from like Chipotle through the Chipotle app right now, they're doing free delivery for this month.
Ooh.
They send a DoorDash person.
Now, are you getting it with or without the romaine?
Man, you guys.
I do get the lettuce, but here's the deal. So we ordered last week. We got some Chipotle, and we just decided to have it delivered.
Fancy restaurants.
And we did it straight through the Chipotle app.
It's a freaking taco place, man. It's not a fancy restaurant.
Dude, but they're good.
They are.
Never mind.
Never mind. Jeff's like, I'm not talking now. Talk to us.
I'm not talking. I'm not talking over you two arguing whether Chipotle is fancy or not.
Come here, talk to us. Come here.
So, what was your question about restaurants, Mathis?
Come back, Jeff.
Jeff.
Nope. You tell me one of our biggest complaints is talking over each other, and I'm not talking.
Sorry,
over
Jeff. Continue with your story. You ordered Chipotle with your wife.
It's done.
And y'all had a nice romantic evening eating burritos.
We need to have a mute button for him, Ozzy. We need a mute button for him.
Chipotle is good, though.
Chipotle.
All right, well, now that we killed that.
Okay, so now, Jeff.
Get out another horse to beat.
Jeff's like, I'm taking my toys and going home.
The thing I was trying to say was that Chipotle, even if you order direct from them, it uses DoorDash to send the stuff to you.
Really?
Yes. Chipotle is also a large chain, though, so I have a feeling that it's probably more beneficial for them.
I think the point is they already have the partnership with DoorDash, so instead of hiring delivery drivers, they just order up a DoorDash driver.
It's also good PR. It's also really good PR that you're trying to take care of the customers. So it's going to come back and benefit them in the end. I hate to be cold and callous, but
no, that's not cold and callous. That's how it is. They did free delivery for the month. They used DoorDash. The reason I found that out is because A, the person that showed up was a DoorDash driver, even though we ordered from them, and B, they got my order completely wrong. And so I called the store. I called the store. Well, it's funny because my wife's was exactly right. Mine, even though I had my name on the lid, instead of having like the sticker they normally put on with your name, it was handwritten on there, and somebody mixed up the containers, even though they just wrote my name on it. So I called them, and they refunded it, plus like Chipotle corporate gave us a free meal for 2 or whatever. But when I called the store,
he went all Karen on them.
The store owner was like, well, I'd have to order up another delivery driver, and it's through DoorDash. Like, I can't just do that since it's through DoorDash. So he basically explained they're using DoorDash drivers. That's all I was trying to say.
Huh. Did you get your right meal?
Were they?
No, I just took the refund and ate the bowl that they gave me.
Were they confused when you called up and said, "Hey, this is Karen," and then you started talking about Jeffrey's order being wrong?
It was actually Caitlin's order. So
they were like, "You mean Caitlin? No, Karen. No."
I simply filled out the survey because they say in the app, "We want to know how your order was."
Shut up, Karen.
That's wonderful. He's gonna leave. You know that, right?
No, I don't want to run him off. I really don't want to run him off.
So what you guys are saying is when you pay good money for something and receive the exact wrong thing, you don't let the company know they.
No, you let them know. You did the right thing, Jeff.
Yeah.
You did the right thing.
It's so wonderful.
Yes, it is.
Great job.
Okay,
all right,
so
let's get back.
So
to the
right now,
thing.
restaurants are selling their bulk purchased items like out their front doors. I saw an article the other day floating around. In states where the restaurants aren't allowed, obviously, to be open, they are now selling like the stocks of toilet paper that they have.
I saw that.
In order to just make some sort of money.
I mean,
I can't blame them.
Yeah.
At what point are they going to get in trouble for that? Because that's not what their business license allows them to do.
Frankly, I don't care. I don't care.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, that's the next step. The government comes after them because you're allowed to sell chicken, not toilet paper or whatever.
So that's what I want to know. I want to know when there's going to be a case of Chick-fil-A that comes up for sale.
Oh, never. Chick-fil-A will not do that.
Okay, so I went to Chick-fil-A on Thursday this week.
I bet Chick-fil-A is still doing making ends meet.
There was 100 cars waiting in the drive-thru.
Yeah,
right.
No exaggeration.
It's obviously physically impossible to do the same volume without inside and outside stalls.
So there's two.
But I bet Chick-fil-A's giving it a best shot, man.
There are two.
They are so efficient, it's ridiculous.
Two entrances to the Chick-fil-A in Sioux City because it's in a mall parking lot. One of the driveways was out into the main road.
Jeez.
It was parked out into the main road, so it was probably a quarter mile long of traffic. Man. And so I snuck in another entrance and was able to finagle right in line in front of everyone. So
you're a terrible person.
I know. And
at Chick-fil-A, you're gonna get struck down.
I know. I figured it was okay because I was eating that Jesus chicken. So.
Gotta make sure we get those.
I was evening it out, right?
That does not make it better. That makes it worse.
Gotta make sure we support the donations to the abortion providers.
Oh, good grief, man.
Pull it back out again.
The big guns are coming
out.
Pull
it back out again.
Oh.
Now,
but it is good chicken.
This is one of those things. All right, to get back to what we were talking about with the restaurants, I think the restaurants are going to be the thing that takes one of the longest times to get back up to speed. Because even if think about it, even if you open up the restaurants next week, how many people are actually going to be going to them, and is it going to be the same volume that it would have been before?
Everybody who for the last 2 weeks has been eating their own cooking and realizing I don't know how to cook, that's why I go out to eat every night, will be instantly flooding back to all the restaurants.
Jeff, how often do you guys eat out?
Way too flippant.
Like 7 nights a week. How long? How many?
I can't even put. I mean, sadly, before all this, it was probably 4 to 5. It seems like I don't know that it was really that many, but it's a lot. It's way too many.
A week? Yeah, I would say maybe 2 times a month, 3 times a month.
Yeah.
2 or 3 times a month.
So we do Sunday lunch in town with our friends. That's about it.
Yeah, we ate out way too much.
I mean, we might do another time, but
yeah, no.
Well, and it's hard to judge too because I'm gone so much for my job that
don't worry. It's easier for your wife to grab something on the way home from work.
We'll judge you. It's
to grab
easy
something,
for us.
and then I'm on the road, so I'm obviously grabbing something. So for me, it feels like I'm eating out every day.
Yeah, no, I understand. I mean, when I'm working, I normally grab something when I am working, so that makes sense. So, what was the other thing we were going to talk about this segment?
Farmers.
Yeah,
killing chickens and burying fruit and vegetables.
So
and yada yada yada. Which
Massey comes out. Thomas Massey, Senator Thomas Massey, or Representative Thomas Massey, comes out the other day with an article, saying. He's out of Kentucky. He says that farmers are going to start having to kill their livestock because meat processors are shutting down. So Sioux City shut down their meat processing plant, and supposedly they're 4% of the pork in this region or in the U.S.
This country, I believe, yeah.
Yeah, 4%. And then in Pennsylvania, I was talking with a friend of ours who said that a beef packing plant out of Pennsylvania is also shutting down for, who knows how long.
Yeah.
And they're saying that, good grief, 4% of the meat in the country? Yeah. That seems crazy that people would just start killing their livestock.
Yeah. Now that's my question is why. I understand why the processing plants may be shutting down because there's no demand. And so that could take a hit on our food supply. What I don't understand, and maybe Mathis, you can enlighten me on some of this, having some of that agricultural background. Is it just too expensive? Like they planned to feed these cows for X number of months, and now if they don't get sold and slaughtered now, it's too expensive to keep feeding them for 2 more months when demand goes back up?
Or you may not be able to eat enough to
Or
feed
do they
them.
hit a window? Do they hit a window where the chickens are too old to sell, so that people aren't going to want the meat?
Yeah,
or
what's the deal? Yes, and yes. So you run into that food issue where it's not available. Farmers are buying up feed like crazy right now, they were saying. You've got once the animal gets too old, it doesn't taste good anymore.
But I mean, is that old window in years or in like weeks?
Weeks. Especially when you're talking about a chicken. I mean, so chickens grow like the chickens you buy in the store are like 8 weeks old. So
really?
Yeah.
Wow. I would have guessed that it was like way longer than that.
Maybe 12 on a big chicken. No.
Yeah. No, I would have guessed. Yeah,
no,
I would have guessed.
Chickens grow so fast.
I would have guessed months, like within I don't know, 6 or 8 months is what my guess would have been.
Pigs are 8 months.
Pigs are 8
months.
Real quick.
Chickens are about 3. Dang. Like your small roasters are 2 months, and they feed them. And the problem is after that 2 to 3 months, all it is money. You're not getting any return on your meat. And so after 6 to 8 months on a pig, you're not getting any return on that feed either.
You're feeding them more, and you're not going to make what you fed.
Yeah. So it just doesn't make any sense to keep going with them.
That's crazy.
And so same with cows. Cows the same way. Like if you can have a cow that you can get rid of at that prime weight, most cows sell in the fall, and then they go to feedlots and they're grown out a little bit. So, and cows are 18 months when they're slaughtered typically, and so that's part of the reason why beef is more expensive than pork, is because that longer growth period. And I don't know, it's weird. So what we're going to do is if reports start coming out that people are just killing animals,
buy stuff direct.
We're going to buy stuff direct. I know how to slaughter animals. I'm fine with that. My kids know how to slaughter animals. We're just going to have a party and we'll get a couple pigs and slaughter the pigs.
It's going to look like an old-fashioned sacrifice ritual over at Mathis' house.
Little blood streaks into the eyes. Yep, that's us.
All right.
It's gonna look like the Old Testament over there.
We're going biblical. Except in the Old Testament they couldn't eat pigs, so
no pork. Yeah.
No pork, unfortunately. So I don't know. I mean, things are different. Things are definitely different. So Ozzy, you were mentioning earlier they're getting rid of veggies and stuff. Like are people do people eat more veggies and stuff when they're at home or when they're at restaurants?
What I heard is that they are basically just plowing under vegetables, which is not an abnormal practice. It happens.
The government pays them to do it all the time.
Right. But anyway, so what I've heard is that they're plowing over tons and tons of veg because they cannot get them into restaurants. Because apparently people eat way more vegetable or way more vegetables are used in restaurants than people buy at home. And going off of my experience of going to Aldi's, get out of here. I can confirm that one of the things that is consistently on the shelf and always packed out is fruits and vegetables. And I think people just don't like them, or don't know how to cook them, or I don't know. But apparently restaurants are a huge part of that market, and people at home are not cooking as much vegetables.
Weird.
So
I'm trying to think through. So I think part of it may be. I'm just trying to think this through for myself. Like you asked me. The number I gave you for even like how many times we eat out is probably high, but we eat out way too much. But since this has started,
we've been
mainly eating at home and making meals, eating lots of leftovers. So we've been eating at home a lot more. One thing you get a lot of times, this is more sit down than fast food restaurants, but a lot of them always come with some sort of side of veggies and some sort of salad. And a lot of times, so let's say you go to that sit down restaurant for lunch. You decide to go to Chili's for lunch. Even the lunch meal you get is going to come with some sort of salad, some sort of side veggie, okay? When you're at home and you make lunch, you're usually like, I'm going to slap a sandwich together and maybe have some chips. Like you're not making 3 courses for your lunch. So, at least from my experience. So I'm wondering if that's playing into it a lot. It's not that necessarily people don't like them or don't know how to cook them. It's that they're eating a lot more relaxed meals than when you're going out to eat. You're not eating a salad with every single meal. You're not preparing a veggie with every single meal. You're maybe doing it with your dinners.
See, I see that as being a cultural shift though from the early 90s or mid 90s or early 70s, 80s, whatever. Where you have people that are eating out a lot, and so you don't have like when I go to Walmart, for instance. I go to Walmart, and right now they're out of a lot of things, but all of the stuff to make your own meals is completely available.
Well,
if you're making meals from scratch,
convenience,
but
correct. People are going for the fast stuff first.
Right, you can't find pizza rolls, you can't find all of this other like instant foods, quote unquote, in the restaurants, in grocery stores. Those are the stuff that is scarce, and I think it's because people do not really cook.
Correct, and they don't want to take the time to. Their cost benefit analysis is I've got so much more going on in my life. Because I want instant.
They have to watch their 8 hours of binging.
Correct.
Okay, what's with that, guys?
They need to get to Tiger King instead of spending the time to cook.
8 hours. They did a test.
If you got nothing else to do,
they did a survey to figure out. I don't even know if it had to be a survey. They probably just asked Netflix.
Now, here's a question.
It's a lot of binge.
And maybe you're going to give me the details here.
Do it.
If it's just statistics from Netflix without doing a survey, how many people are just in their house all day doing laundry, running around, doing this, doing that, and Netflix is just running in the background on The Office?
I don't know. I don't,
because that could pretty much accurately describe.
I don't turn the TV on though.
I want to say though,
where stuff is just running, but you're not actually watching it.
I want to say though, if I remember, and I'm going off of not facts here, but my memory, which is probably not great. I thought it was somewhere in the 4-hour range per day before all of this.
Yeah.
I want to say it was like in the 4-hour range of people binge watching about 4 hours per day. And that's with having jobs, having school, and everything else that they're doing.
That's crazy. So I was for the sake of the show, when I saw this article, I started thinking through my consumption, my TV consumption. And
TVs.
What's that? Well, yeah, I eat TVs.
There's vegetables out
my
there. My
streaming consumption. And I was thinking this through, and I think, like, at most 3 hours. And it's normally at night after the kids are in bed. It's like 9 o'clock to about midnight. So it's sometimes shorter than 3 hours, but the most is typically 3 hours. And I might watch something during the day with the kids. Like we love to watch How It's Made.
Oh yeah, that's good.
And so
excellent.
I make a claim that it's educational, and that makes it not binging. And so we did that for like an hour yesterday while I closed my eyes and attempted to take a nap. And
that never.
So I mean,
out.
we got 4 hours yesterday, or I got 4 hours yesterday. That's a long time for us.
Yeah.
Because we have stuff to do, and I was home all day yesterday.
Do you guys realize that Andrew Lloyd Webber is offering they're offering all of his plays on YouTube for free right now?
They're Broadway musicals. They're not plays. Get it right. Jeez.
We watched
Some people's kids.
We watched the 25th anniversary of The Phantom last night.
I was really disappointed because we own that one, and I thought it was going to be like one of the actual stage plays. I didn't realize it was going to be that one.
Is it good?
It's a live stage play at Royal Albert Hall, and
I know, but it was the 25th anniversary edition. They changed a few things for it.
Are they actually doing?
It was really good, and they did. They did an encore. They did an encore at the end where they brought back essentially all the living Phantoms.
Yes. Except Michael Crawford did not sing.
He didn't sing, which I told Caitlin I'm suspicious. Has something gone on where he's old enough he can't do it?
No. It's because he came at the time that they were doing. I know a lot about Phantom of the Opera. At the time that they were doing the 25th anniversary edition, he was in a different Broadway play. You see what I did there? Yeah. He was in a different Broadway musical, and he had just come from that.
I knew that they brought him in last second,
which is why he looks so winded. And I think there was like some obligation that he had to the other thing, which made it so that he couldn't really do the singing and things like that.
Because I was bummed, because I wondered why they didn't have him sing, because they had Andrew Lloyd Webber's wife, the original Christine Daae, they had her sing, although she did not impress me.
Sarah Brightman,
yes. Her name escaped me for a second. She honestly did not impress me with her rendition there at the end of that. The girl playing Christine in the actual play was definitely better, unfortunately.
What plays have you guys seen in New York on Broadway?
In New York?
Yeah.
Phantom.
None.
You saw Phantom? Oh.
Yeah, I saw
for
Phantom.
Some reason I thought Ozzy would have seen several.
I've seen several. I've never seen him in New York, though.
Really?
Yeah.
See, that's weird to me.
I've seen Phantom in New York and Cleveland, and I've seen Lord of the Rings in Toronto.
How do they fit all 15 hours into one, sitting?
They make you watch the movies
They do a good
first.
job.
Oh, okay.
They do a good job.
They're like, oh, we're gonna cut to this scene.
It was good.
I took Alyssa to see Romeo and Juliet. It was across from the big New York City Scientology building. That was fun. We get our energies checked when we were there.
Nice. So Ozzy, then, since you've seen the 25th anniversary Phantom, I could not believe that one guy was a Phantom. I looked up all their names. The kind of like skinny guy on the end with the earring.
He had a weird voice.
He did not have a Phantom voice. It was rough.
Yeah.
Now Colm Wilkinson, he was the guy that did it in Toronto. He is really good. Did you know he was the original Jean Valjean?
No,
in Les Mis? Yeah, and then Caitlin was going, I've seen him somewhere. So we were looking around.
I haven't seen the original Les Mis.
He played in the movie Les Mis with
Russell Crowe.
And Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman.
Colm Wilkinson played another role. He played the bishop something in that.
Oh,
so
yeah.
He I thought it's funny. Like, I wonder what it's like for the original Jean Valjean to watch Wolverine play Jean Valjean.
Yeah, but let's be realistic. Like, he is so good.
Oh,
he's musicals.
He's great. He really is. The Greatest Showman was really good.
What's super strange is if you watch him in Oklahoma.
I have not watched that.
It's kind of bizarre because he has to be like very hick, I guess, because it's Oklahoma. So it's very funny.
That's funny. I might have to check that out.
So yeah, you can find that one on YouTube. You just look it up. Hugh Jackman.
So I don't even know where to go from that. I don't even know where to go from that.
No, this is a great segment, guys. I was like,
we're talking about streaming.
And this time on NPR.
Unfortunately, my wife's probably going to. Unfortunately, my wife's probably going to want to watch Les Mis next. And while it is good, it's just not on the same level as Phantom.
I bought Les Mis for Alyssa for her for Christmas.
The movie
with
Hugh
Jackman
and Russell Crowe, because
Gladiator versus Wolverine.
That's right.
Yeah, that'd be a good fight. I'm not gonna lie.
Two complete different universes. Yes, let's do it.
Marvel will find a way to do it.
What are you talking about?
So speaking of binging, I started watching the McMillions documentary, which is fascinating. It's about the McDonald's Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and
Monopoly
money.
Mean?
Well, no, so they ran two different games during that period of time, which was Monopoly and Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And it turns out that the entire thing was a fraud.
What? I don't know. I got a lot of free quarter pounders and breakfast burritos. That was the best thing to win in Monopoly because you knew you weren't winning $1 million.
Right.
So it's just like when you got the free food, when you're just like one of the spaces, you're like, oh, I got Boardwalk
and
again,
it's obvious.
But nobody's getting Park Place.
It's
so
obvious
who cares?
now. It's obvious now no one won it because, well.
But man, give me that free quarter pounder.
Scandalous.
So I remember we used to go there all the time because my mother was playing. Like, she was playing hardcore. She wanted to win. And she had, she had her little.
Not? You get food along the way.
I know. She had the little fold up thing in her purse, and she was like,
board.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
They still have those.
Oh,
all right.
Do they still do it? Do they still do Monopoly every year?
Yes, they do. So here's the thing. I heard on the documentary. Yes, they give $1 million out. Yes, they give out, $100,000 as well, and $50,000 and Vipers and whatever. But
I don't want a Viper.
Yeah,
I would sell that.
A pit of Vipers.
I don't want one either. But
I would take a pit of Vipers.
They gain like 30% revenue every time they run the game, which turns into like $87 million.
So it's genius marketing?
So it's genius marketing. They're making more than they could ever dream of giving away.
And I'm sure it's so rigged that one, I haven't watched the documentary, so maybe this is spoiler alert. I'm sure that one winning $1 million piece is like framed in the CEO's office and never given away each year.
Well, no, it's taken by someone and given away by that individual.
Okay.
So,
but they never win. No one ever claims $1 million.
Yes,
right?
they do.
Has someone claimed $1 million?
Oh yes. You need to watch the documentary.
I do need to watch.
You need to watch the documentary. That and the Tiger King.
No.
I still haven't watched that. Jeff, should I watch it?
I am so thankful I don't have Netflix.
I should watch
I cannot watch it.
I should watch it, according to Jeff.
We're not recommending it.
No, not recommending it, but for educational purposes.
For educational purposes.
The memes going around the internet will be so much funnier right now if you've seen it.
I think they're funny as it is, but
By the way, Carol Baskins killed her husband, and Jeffrey Epstein did not commit suicide.
For my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa.
That was a non-gendered person, Ken, and you just gave it a gender.
I tried this one chili and it set my mouth on fire, and I had to drink a 2-liter of Mountain Dew.
All right, leave this guy alone with his poor constipated poops. We're going to come back and talk about politics. So that's what really matters here.
We never use that intro right before we talk about politics.
No, we don't. And that's the irony. And if anyone has any complaints, they can email tombstone@thefrontporchshow.com.
But it is nice to have Tombstone's voice with us if Tombstone himself came with us.
It's true. And I mean, we may not be talking about politics, but we're talking about the French, right?
What? I missed that.
The French.
It's true.
The French.
Is that like a key for me to start talking about this?
Yeah, what happened in France?
Okay, I'm like, what are we talking about? Where are we going?
It probably involved a white flag.
So, it actually...
It kind of does.
Here we go.
Or
all right,
guillotine.
Let's get into it. So, there was this man who was a Frenchman, nonetheless.
Jean Valjean?
And no, sadly.
Wrong article.
Oh, whoops.
So this man had a terrifying joyride. His friends decided that this 64-year-old man would enjoy going on a small jet ride.
It was a Raphael Mirage.
Let's see. I'm not sure what kind of jet it was.
It's a French fighter jet.
Right. So they decided that he was going to enjoy doing this because you can sign people up and you can do these things where it's like it's the two-seater jets. Go for a joyride in the jet.
And I believe he worked in an industry related to the production of the jet, did he not? Or something related to
it's something like that, right? So anyway, the 64-year-old guy, his friends decide that, you know what, I don't know if it was for his birthday, for something, that he would like to do this. And so they got him to do it. He didn't really want to do it, apparently, but did it anyway. And at 2,500 feet above the earth, freaked out, accidentally grabbed the ejection lever and ejected himself.
Oh my goodness.
This article has a lot less detail than the one that I read. So yeah, he
He's fine, by the way. He is fine. The pilot apparently suffered some damage too, just because when the guy was ejecting, he apparently smacked the pilot or hit the pilot in the face somehow.
I think
my article doesn't really have a lot of details.
Yeah, this article, there was another article I found that had way more detail in it.
So it proves once again that the French will surrender given enough pressure.
But
oh my goodness.
So I believe what it was is that this gentleman worked in the industry. I think he might have worked for Dassault. So it was a Dassault Rafale B, which is a military fighter jet in the French forces. And they set him up with this I forget the reason, but they set him up with this ride. But like he didn't want to say no. He kind of felt pressured to take it, but apparently he is afraid of flying and stuff like this. And like apparently he had like a Fitbit or a Google Watch or whatever.
Yes,
so it was talking about how it was recording his heart rate leading up to this, just in like the pre-flight briefings, and his heart's already racing.
That's terrifying.
So they're going to pull a lot of G's. So
if you're terrified of flying, there's no better way to get over that than in a 900 mile an hour jet.
Yes.
Yeah, but guys, he was only at 22,500 feet.
Yeah, they weren't going 900 miles an hour yet.
No, but I'm saying though that's because apparently they were still climbing. Like they had not even remotely gotten in the air.
So they did like a combat takeoff. Like they pulled really hard and pulled a lot of G's on takeoff. And they had
poor guy.
They had let me see if I can find it because you need more details.
I know. I'm sorry. The article I have has it's like 4 paragraphs and none of it's really
there was a lot
awesome.
More.
So yeah, but I just found it funny. Yeah. I love it.
2,500 feet, guys.
Yeah.
It's not very high.
No. His parachute did deploy. Apparently his ill-fitting helmet flew off. So he went in the air and lost his helmet and then floated back down to the earth where they picked him up. He was fine.
So yeah, they barely
suffering a heart attack.
Barely took off from the runway, and we're over the end of the runway when the guy ejected.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I'm looking at a graphic here from the French government's incident report.
My guess would be from the article that he was I probably trying to grab hold of something to hold on to, I would guess, and just grabbed the wrong thing is what it sounds like. It doesn't sound like he was trying to eject himself.
So what I must have read, and I can't find it now, was like the full incident report because it had lots of detail, and all these articles are like 2 paragraphs. They're leaving out a lot of it. So I'll have to dig deeper. But essentially, yes, he was only, they kind of do a test on you health-wise and stuff to see what the limit of the G's they can pull during your ride is. And they took off and yanked some G's, and I think he was trying to hold on. And there's some hand holds in some places, and in the other places the handle for the ejection seat.
Right.
Now, the irony of all of this is this event exposed a flaw in the ejection seat system.
Oh, interesting.
Well, this is good. This is good.
There's a switch, and this is where the bigger article, I wish I could find it now, because apparently there's a switch that can kind of control essentially if the seats eject separately or when one guy goes, they both go.
Right.
And the switch was set to both go because that way the pilot was in control, that just in case there's an emergency, the pilot can blow it and the passenger along for the ride gets out as well. Well, when the man accidentally ejected, the pilot's seat did not eject for some reason.
Well, that's good.
It actually saved the aircraft because the pilot brought it back and landed it. And so it actually saved the aircraft, but it exposed some sort of glitch where his seat didn't eject and it was supposed to.
That's interesting.
So it's pretty interesting. And so I think the pilot was injured just due to like the way the canopy blows out to get out of the way for you to eject, but then he didn't eject.
So the moral of the story is don't fly a jet in France.
There's one article I'm reading
grab
here.
The ejection handle, and if you're afraid, just don't do it.
Oh, that too.
There's one article I'm reading here from Car and Driver. It says the doctor had ordered that they not go more than 3 Gs, but they hit 3.7 on the climb. And then when the plane leveled off, which not leveled off, just stopped pulling the Gs, I think is the better
It might have leveled. It might have gone boom and then level.
It didn't level off. It continued sustained flight in the same direction. It did not continue the arc, I guess, up, if that makes sense. And they hit 0.67 negative G's.
So then it pushed down.
Which pushed
it did
up
it
a
did
little
level.
Bit. So I guess it pushed a little bit.
Level. It did level.
But level, would you call it level, though, when it's not actually flying level flight?
Do you know if it was flying level flight?
Yeah,
they could have.
Yes.
They could have done combat takeoff where you go zoom, gain the altitude, then bam, pitch to level.
No, they didn't pitch to level, according to this article. According to the infographics, which was showing the height.
Infographics.
Which is showing the altitude gained. Because they were over the end of the runway and continued to gain altitude.
Gotcha.
Anyways, but yeah, so the pilots, the pyrotechnics blew a hole in the pilot's canopy. The first ejection damaged the front seat such that it didn't eject. So it's supposed to fire the back seat and then fire the front seat.
Right, probably so you don't run into each
But
other
it
at the same
got
time.
damaged, and so yeah. And so he landed the canopyless fighter jet. Man, can you imagine being that pilot, though?
Just driving with the top down.
Yeah, but can you imagine being the pilot when all of a sudden it flies off?
Like,
and you're like, what the heck just happened?
It's
I
like
think I just lost my passenger.
How fast does it take you to land and go find the guy and
Depends on if you crash right into him or not.
I mean, it's
did he aim?
Right there, 900 miles an hour.
The guy, I think the guy that ejected did suffer some serious injuries, but he was stable in the hospital afterward.
Right.
Well, 2,500 feet is not much.
He's also 64 years old.
I'm sure the parachute still had time to deploy, but it is not much.
Yeah.
So
the thing is ejection. I remember reading
the G's
stories
on
about
ejection.
Guys. Yeah, I remember reading a story about a guy who ejected from a fighter jet, and he, I think it was just a training exercise or whatever. They pick him up. He's in the hospital. His wife comes to meet him, and he gets up out of the hospital bed to like hug her, and he's now shorter than her.
Yes,
he was taller than her before this happened because the compression on his spine.
Wow.
Now some of it came back obviously, but yeah, there's some serious.
I mean, they have serious.
We're doing things your body should never do to avoid your body being completely destroyed.
Right.
It's really the purpose of a ejection
what
seat.
Are in those ejection seats? Is it rockets that go off
that
fling you, or is it like a giant?
It's like an explosive.
Well,
it's like an explosive charge.
Spring.
Haven't you watched like Bugs Bunny? It's a big spring that just goes like boing.
They wind up the spring before the pilot gets in.
Yeah, it's pyrotechnics. It's explosives.
That's what I thought.
It's like rocket boosters under your seat, which is terrifying. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I mean, because of compression on
you
your
remember
spine.
You remember the old fighters like the P-51s and stuff, and in World War II,
they
just
slid
bail
open
out
the
the
canopy
side
and jumped out.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like eject, just slide the canopy open,
Ford.
jump out.
So it wasn't eject; it was bail out.
Right, it was bail out.
Yeah.
So crazy.
Hope that you have enough time. They do that in quite a few scenes in Midway.
Really?
Yes, they do. They do. Yeah. Yeah. For those
Matt didn't watch. He was too busy crying about the graphics.
That movie, guys.
Sad
that movie.
Sad day.
Ozzy. Wow.
Yo.
I got to ask you a question. We had a listener reach out and ask you. Grab our. If you're watching on the video stream, if you're watching the video stream, you're in for a treat.
We're so sorry.
If you're watching on the video stream, it'll be the last time you watch the video stream.
Definitely.
I'm sure. Mathis, you basically are Carol Baskins.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe.
Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. All right, so what did this listener?
So the listener reached out to me.
Hello, listener.
Thank you, Patrick, for reaching out. He wanted to know, Ozzy, that since you're from New Jersey,
yes,
do you know of a pizza place in Wayne, New Jersey that only serves dessert pizza?
I do now.
So
sorry,
if I can
don't.
get this straight, you did not know about this before.
I did not.
Does this make you want to do a road trip?
No, because that's so near New York right now, and New York equals death. So
follow-up question, since you're from New Jersey, do you know Carlo from Carlo's Bakery?
No.
Oh, that's a good
or
question.
Buddy. It's actually Buddy.
No, I do not.
New Jersey's a pretty small place.
I have been to Jersey City, which is where that is. Or I'm sorry, Hoboken. I'm sorry. Why did I say Jersey City? They're basically the same thing, though. But we have been to Hoboken, but we have not actually walked around Hoboken. We've just parked there and then taken the ferry over to Manhattan.
I've been to his chain store in New York City, near Times Square. But
you guys ever been to Katz?
No.
Thank goodness.
No, I have not.
What? Whoa! No, not the play.
No.
Not
Katz
the play.
Deli.
Katz Deli.
Okay.
No.
We were talking about Broadway musicals before, and I'm like,
No,
why is
no,
he
no,
going
no,
back
no.
to Cats?
I have watched Cats
Okay.
once, and I've regretted it so.
That is the best pastrami on rye
Memories.
I have ever had in my entire life.
I have never been there. That's like South Manhattan, isn't it?
So
Is that the one? I've been to one in New York where like they like always put like 3 pounds
it's
of
one
meat.
of
yes,
those
that's the one.
sandwiches.
That's the one. Yeah. So
Dude,
yeah,
those-
it's the
those
one you
Jewish
order
delis,
at the
man.
counter.
Yeah.
So we go in there. I don't know if I told this on the show or not. I think I might have. but
Probably, but do it
it's
again.
worth telling it again because
Do it again.
so
'Cause we've
Alyssa
added one listener.
decides that she's going to drive through New York City just to get a Katz sandwich.
That is
Okay,
a bad
that's
idea.
insane.
It's
a
That
bad
is
idea.
just stupid.
In
Unless
a
it's right
rental
now.
vehicle.
Sorry,
in a
Alyssa.
rental vehicle
Right
at
now it's
at
not.
5 p.m. in the evening.
That's even worse.
So
How
in
long
other
did it
words, she
take you-
decided she's going to sit in traffic, not drive.
Right.
So we made it through to Katz perfectly fine. There was no issue with the traffic.
yeah.
Traffic is not that bad if you don't know what you're doing in New York City. And so
if you don't know what you're doing.
because like we had nowhere we had to go. We knew we had to get to the other side. So you just follow the green lines on Google.
This is like Detroit. Traffic's not bad if you don't know there's a protest going on.
Right,
Everything
exactly.
stopped.
Hey, that was
So-
Lansing. That was
Oh, I'm
Lansing.
sorry, Lansing. I'm
Lansing
sorry.
is the capital.
You got the wrong
sorry.
you got the wrong
I'm
capital,
sorry.
Ozzy.
You're right.
So
You're right. I'm sorry.
so she drops me off and I run inside and she proceeds to drive around the block 6 times while I'm ordering the sandwiches. And
Wow. That's
it
an
was
inspiring story.
no. Dude,
Is it,
what in the world?
guys, this is turning into a classic Mathis story.
Back in my day. Okay.
Warning.
Oh,
Joe.
shut up.
Warning.
Y'all.
Okay, Joe.
So
Keep going.
So I
Keep
get
going,
in there
Joe.
to the counter. An Italian guy standing behind the counter. He's got the
Wait,
big
there's an
brisket.
Italian guy in a Jewish deli?
Yeah, it was an Italian guy. He
This
had the
is weird.
chains and everything. I know. Hey, look, there were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people in there. And
Sure you
so,
went to Cats?
yes, I went to Katz Deli. And so, not the play, the deli. And so,
Isn't that where they get the meat
they
from?
give you, yes, it is. They give you a sample to try it to make sure you like it before they put it on your sandwich.
This is inspiring.
It was delicious, guys.
That's
delicious.
the story.
No,
That's the story.
no,
You
no,
got
no.
a sample of the pastrami
No.
before you got it on the rye.
I am-
That's the
I am
story.
cutting-
This is terrible.
I am cutting my story short because of you two.
This is just awful.
Don't cut it short if there's a good point to the
No,
story
no,
because
no,
we haven't
no,
gotten a good
no,
point to the
No,
story yet.
no,
You just gotta treat him like Joe Biden.
No.
Just be like, okay, Joe.
Don't care.
That's exactly
Don't care.
what it's like. It just wanders off into nothingness.
pull a
and then he
Jeff.
sniffs somebody's hair. I don't know.
I'm gonna pull a Jeff. I'm not doing it. Not doing the story.
Good. Thank God. All right, let's get on to the next
Moving
story.
on.
We got things to do.
Folks, you
Moving
are
on.
welcome. You're welcome for the intervention, Ozzy. And
What
I
is? Yeah.
Moving on.
Cut it.
Ooh,
It's
ooh.
done.
He has the
It's
music
done.
power. He has the music power.
Joe Biden. I'm a Democrat, and I love John McCain. And I also am told that Chuck Graham, state senator, is here. Chuck, Stand up, Chuck. Let him see you. Oh, God love you. What am I talking about? I tell you what. If we do everything right, we do it with absolute certainty. We stand up there and we make really tough decisions. There's still a 30% chance we're going to get it wrong.
We would like to welcome you back
to the
front porch.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, folks. It's late enough in the episode. If you're still here, A, we're shocked, and B, you can just shut it off because we're to the nonsense part of the show at this point.
Oh, yeah.
So just turn it off, frontporchshow.com, and we'll see you next week.
And that's it. That's all the music.
Oh,
that's,
good. Thanks.
That's all the music. Yeah, just stop. Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. There you are.
Glad that's over.
So we I know we're not supposed to talk about Corona right now, like for the rest of the show.
Okay. Well, let's talk about Florida Man.
But no. That.
Listen, if we mix it, if we keep talking, Jeff, Joe Biden over here will forget what he was saying. So then just
that's why I'm trying to just let him get it over with.
He'll be done.
I'm just not going to talk.
Make it short, Joe. Make it short.
What were you going to say in relation? What were you going to say? I am not gonna come play hair with the hair on your legs. I am not gonna come play with the hair on your legs. I'm out. I'm out.
Creepy, guys. That's so creepy.
Oh boy.
Oh, why? Why,
Uncle Joe? Why?
So, what were you gonna say in relation to Corona?
Oh no. So I stumbled across a funny not an article. Yeah, it was an article, a video. It was a video. Biden. Just shut up. I stumbled across a hilarious video of.
You stumbled across your words. Your words.
It was a video. No, article. Video. Article. Oh, it can't be both. I can't justify this internet thing.
Was it delivered via tubes?
Yes, it was. A series of tubes.
Was it slow because everybody else was ahead of it? Like
a little bit.
Where are we going here?
So I stumbled across.
Do you love John McCain?
No. So I stumbled across this. I thought it was hilarious. This is a supermarket owner or manager in Australia. Who
manager, worker, it's one of those. I don't know. Sniff somebody's hair.
He did not sniff people's hair. He was mad about the folks who were hoarding toilet paper, and so.
Well,
are you guys done? Are you good?
It wasn't. Yeah, we're good.
No,
it wasn't just that he was mad. I mean, this is epic. So let's.
More is
this
coming.
Is good.
More is
so
coming.
this is off of the Paul Murray show in Australia.
Ooh, Australia is going to be good.
Without doubt, an absolute sensation is the bloke from the shopping centre in South Australia who we showed you last night. A bloke who gave the middle finger to somebody who wanted to return thousands of toilet rolls and get a refund. This was
literally
the tape that he put out a couple of days ago.
Everyone had just bought the things that they had needed for their immediate short term, we would be fine. But the reality is we've had so many people hoarding products and buying products that they're never going to use. I'd almost say that they might not ever eat in their lifetime because we have had some staggering statistics. We've sold 8 months of toilet paper in 4 weeks. We've sold a year's supply of flour in 9 days, and we're all in the same boat. It's not one supermarket that's missing out. It's every single one. So 2020, the year of Glen 20, or the year of toilet paper, the scenes that everyone has seen with the toilet paper has been absolutely ridiculous. And I had my first customer yesterday who said he wanted to get a refund on 150 packets of 32-pack toilet paper and 150 units of 1 litre sanitizer. I told him that. That is the sort of person that is causing the problem in the whole country.
What he told him was a gesture.
Yes, he told him
a impolite gesture with a certain digit.
He fired one finger. So I'm trying to do the calculation here. That was
4,500 rolls.
4,800 rolls.
Okay, how many
Who's
did you
right?
say?
Who's right? I want to know the math.
He said 150 with 30.
150,
right?
32 rolls.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did 30.
Yeah, you did 30. Nice math there, though, Ozzy. It's pretty good.
Also, 150 liters of hand sanitizer.
Which,
That's a lot.
obviously, the guy was going to sell it. But anyway.
Yeah, so this is an instance where the guy was looking to make a buck
right.
versus he was just hoarding it for himself.
Now, at the risk of getting run over for telling another story, guys, I did this once. I did this once.
Shoot you, Aaron.
I did this once. I did some
You got my attention.
So, I went to snow camp. It was a church camp, in the middle of winter. Yes. And I decided to bring 2 cases of the cheap Mountain Dew from Walmart. Like the Mountain Lightning. Mountain Lightning.
Yeah,
I love the Mountain Lightning. Okay. I got some great memories because of my grandparents with Mountain Lightning.
At snow camp.
Wait,
what?
Interrupt you.
Hold on.
That just sounds the great memories of your grandparents' Mountain Lightning. Sounds like you might have snuck into
Did they
their
have a
secret still supply.
I actually have. Actually, before the show, I did read an article on why moonshine is illegal to make and sell, or to make like for yourself.
Well, we'll have to get to that. We will get to that.
Interesting article.
Let's get to that after the Mountain Lightning.
Sorry.
I'm curious.
My grandparents' Mountain Lightning I found it hilarious.
They had a refrigerator in their garage that had sodas. Among those were Mountain Lightning.
Right.
So I have these awesome attachments with Mountain Lightning and
sorry, Matt.
So I bring 2 cases of this stuff, and at the camp they were selling the name brand stuff for $1 a piece, and so I sold the off brand for 50 cents a piece.
Cans, bottles.
Oh, cans.
Okay.
Never with the intention of drinking it. I brought it to sell.
So you were a little entrepreneur
from
an early age.
I sold the. Yes,
brought toilet paper.
I sold the off brand, bought the name brand, and I walked out with an extra couple bucks.
So how'd you do? Did you sell it all?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, it was gone, because as soon as the snack shop closed down at night, kids are like, "Oh, I want soda." Well,
2 for 1.
Well.
How old were you when you were doing this?
I think I was 12.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And you brought them with the intent.
Oh yeah, brought them with the intent of selling.
How did you get away with bringing these?
How
did you sneak them in?
I told them I was
Mom and Dad,
them.
I need 2 cases of this so I don't have to spend any money at camp.
Yeah. I was I need to save some money.
We're perfectly fine with a preteen bringing 2 cases of Mountain Dew for a 4-day camp.
To a 3-day camp. Yeah.
They probably figured for these 3 days we don't have to worry about him.
4 days.
They were like, make some friends.
I don't remember very well, but I assume
with that much sugar, I'm not surprised.
I assume what I had done was decided that I was going to give it away to friends and stuff.
Is your Joe Biden started early?
And so it was like $2.50 for the entire case. Because they cost nothing.
Wow.
And
apparently they cost $2.50. I mean,
wow.
$2.50 back then was worth more.
It's
so
true.
Aaron's going to be going back to summer camps and trying to sell Mountain Dew to young children.
You got to do something.
This man in his mid-30s is just going to come out of the woods with a case of off-brand Mountain Dew and be like,
"That's not creepy at all."
I got
kids,
more in
you
my
want
van.
some Mountain Light?
Wow, you're turning me into a creep now. I don't know how to respond.
He is kind of a Joe Biden. So.
No. See, that was a good story, guys. You let me get through it. It was good.
Yes, that was a good story, and it led to some good laughs.
You're welcome. That's I seek to deliver. So, Ozzy, tell us about this.
Yeah,
tell us about this Mountain Lightning
story.
Okay. So
it's White Lightning.
So moonshine. All right. So the basic gist of moonshine was that It was made illegal. Prohibition came around. People were making their own moonshine in various forms. Were coming up with moonshine.
This is turning into a Mathis story.
The reason that it got its name was after Prohibition, they were taxing any sales of alcohol, okay, to help make up for
excise taxes,
right? Whatever it was.
Still
and
charging
so people were making moonshine illegally in their homes and were running it at night. So by the light of the moon, and then they also, which is why moonshine is still considered illegal to make on your own, because if you make it on your own and you sell it, you're not paying taxes on it. But it's still considered illegal because not because you're not paying taxes, but it's still considered illegal, even though you can make it yourself.
Wait, I'm confused. Are you saying you cannot make it for your own consumption?
No,
or
you cannot.
Not make it to sell.
You legally cannot.
You can
according to federal laws. According to federal
laws,
make
it for your own consumption.
Now it's funny.
And what was their reasoning for that? Because its manufacturer needs to be taxed.
Oh, you can go blind.
Well,
yes. If you don't distill the chemicals out of it correctly,
those are among the reasoning for it, is that you can go blind.
Does the government need a reason?
Poisoning, right? Or you can get lead poisoning. But I think the majority of the reason still is that they don't want you to not get taxed on it.
Yeah, it's a tax issue.
Which is interesting because, if you manufacture your ammunition wrong, you could get lead poisoning or blow yourself up. But you can still manufacture your own ammunition for yourself.
Yes.
For now.
It's a revenuing thing. It's a revenuing thing, plain and simple. I mean, I'm dealing with that right now. I mean, we haven't really told the audience much.
He has a still.
Yeah. No.
Them dang revenuers.
We haven't told the audience much, but I am pursuing I'm pursuing opening up a business manufacturing ammunition.
And that's disappointing. I was hoping.
So I'm dealing with the government and the tax industries, and they are it's an absolute nightmare because no one knows what they're doing. Like no organization, no bureaucracy within the government.
Including Mathis, so I wouldn't recommend buying that ammunition.
Thanks. That's a great ad, Jeff.
I couldn't resist.
No, it was good. It was well placed.
Nobody knows what they're doing.
Guaranteed to go out with a bang.
That's right. That's right. It'll go bang.
The last ammunition you'll ever need.
So it's a nightmare, guys. Like the taxing organizations within the government that you have to. They do not know what they're doing.
You were telling me stories how you called the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, and they were like, "Yeah, that's not our job." And you're like, "But that's firearms." And they're like, "But we're only alcohol and tobacco." And you're like, "But the firearms people told me to call you."
Yeah, so that was so the ATF told me to call the TTB, who's in charge of taxing.
Who told him to call CNN? Who told him to call MSNBC?
And now he's on stage as Joe Biden.
The Commerce, it's like the Commerce Department of Tax and Trade or something, the Tax and Trade Bureau. And so the ATF used to collect the taxes directly. And so the ATF's like, yeah, you got to call up these guys because they're the ones who collect our taxes now. And because there's an 11% excise tax on all ammunition that's sold. Manufactured for sale. And so I call them up and they're like, yeah, we don't know anything about that. We just do tobacco and alcohol. And so I'm like, in your definition, it's you're the Bureau of Taxes for ammunition too. What in the world, guys?
So basically,
that's their name, the Bureau of Taxes
I don't remember.
Too.
I don't remember. I'm just so frustrated.
BFTAT, the Bureau for Taxes Ammunition.
So what you're saying is, right now, you're just not getting taxed for any of this.
Yeah, that's what I would do. I would just send them a letter and say, figure your crap out.
No.
When you figure out who's supposed to collect it, you can come collect it.
That's a very bad idea. So
that's what they do to you.
Finally,
figure out how much you owe us.
I finally sent them an email on their secure certified email contact form, and they were supposed to get back to me within 2 days. It took them 3 weeks. They finally get back to me and say, "Oh yeah, you just fill out this form every 4 weeks or every 12 weeks." and send it in to us, and you're fine. There's no
Nice.
registration. I'm like, okay, there you go.
That could have been helpful on the phone.
Oh
like
yeah,
5 weeks ago.
that would have been good. But it also would have been good. I was talking with the ATF on another issue, and they said I had to get signed up with another bureaucratic organization for exporting. Exporting, and I'm not exporting.
Like selling to Pablo now?
But because it's considered a military item, I would have to be registered. Well, I don't have to be registered because the government has they changed the laws on that like 6 months ago. And the ATF apparently doesn't know that yet.
All I know is we added an extra rod or two, and we're continuing to go with the rods over your house.
The button is still poised.
Because the rod is non-explosive, so when we hit that ammunition manufacturer,
boom.
It won't go boom. It's just the kinetic force of the tungsten or titanium rod.
I wonder what it sounds like when it hits.
This is terrible.
We could test it.
You're going into like a Mathis story here.
Should I just drop one on you? Should I just drop one
on you?
Can you
do it like next to us? I just want to see that pit.
Neighbor.
Okay, guys.
And this is how Aaron increases his land.
Which neighbor do you not like and whose property you want to acquire?
I've got one who's on a certain list.
Send me some cash.
How long would it take them to figure out that those people aren't next to you anymore?
Well, it is Nebraska. No one lives here, so
whenever the cornfield overgrows or the cows get too loose,
I've got a big pile of brush. Like, it's as big as a house. You want to take that? Like, could you do that? I mean, yeah, it's just a big pile of brush.
What, you just want me to hit the brush?
Yeah, can you hit the brush pile and take it out? Yeah.
It's not going to take it out. It's not fire.
Oh, well.
I don't know. I mean, we had that thing of how much force does it take to cook a chicken with a slab? So, I mean, I would imagine that a tungsten rod,
That's true. From space,
there's probably enough.
It might be flaming on the way down.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
I know. That's what I'm saying, guys.
All right, we'll test this
I'm
out.
I'm concerned about
how big of a tungsten rod do you need to cook a cow?
From space.
From space.
Well, I hear
if anyone wants to sponsor, we'll try it.
I hear there's a lot of farmers who are getting rid of their animals now, so
now we just need a tungsten rod and a spaceship.
Oh my goodness.
Wait, you're saying it's not up there yet?
Not a small one, no. We don't want to take out
not
the
a small
entire farm. We
okay.
want to just,
okay.
Take out a cow or two. We could just hope for a meteor.
Sweet meteor of death.
Yeah.
2020. So I mean, everything else we've got thrown at us this year, why not? Why not? So Ozzy, you had a Florida man story.
So yes, there is a Florida man. This is from the 17th. So yesterday for us right now, because it'll be last Friday for everybody else. So this man in Florida, here we go, Tallahassee, Florida. A Florida man encased himself in concrete.
What?
Friday outside of the governor's mansion in the state capital, apparently to protest prison conditions related to coronavirus.
Thank you, Florida.
Okay, so all we did was clog the roads with traffic. All right, nobody got encased in concrete.
So Tallahassee police spokesman Kevin Bradshaw said the man identified as 28-year-old Jordan Zurich, I guess, put PVC pipes in. This is the part I don't really understand how exactly he did that. I want a photo. PVC pipes in horizontally into the 55-gallon plastic drum filled with concrete with some sort of mechanism that locked his arms in place.
Do we have pictures?
I don't. There's no good pictures.
So he must have put two pipes through a drum, stuck his hands in the pipes, and then locked in, and then filled the drum with concrete so that his hands were in the
never
pipe,
mind. There is a slight. I don't really understand exactly what he did, because it doesn't look like he actually was exposed to the concrete.
So he was smart with his stupid action.
I think. I mean, there's like a half 50-gallon barrel that's like filled with hardened concrete that's down. So he must have done this before it was wet? Because this looks like it's dried concrete, and concrete doesn't dry that quickly.
He cemented his hands in 2 55-gallon plastic drums in the driveway of the governor's mansion. But his hands are out of the concrete in these.
Right,
in this picture.
that's what I'm saying. Is
and you can't. It's not like you can just chisel it off.
Yeah, so I'm not sure exactly how he did it. It doesn't exactly sound like he was, it was too difficult to extract him from the concrete, but I might be wrong. I'm not sure.
So seeing the side of the drum,
they should have just cut his arms off.
It looks like you were saying that he stuck PVC pipe into the side of the drum, filled the drum with concrete.
They did. They brought in jackhammers and stuff to get his hands out.
Interesting. Okay, maybe he did actually cement his hands.
What in the world?
This is not a great idea for a 28-year-old. I'm just saying there's got to be drugs involved in this, because that's...
Well, I mean, he's protesting prisons.
Right, and which I understand, but I just don't... So you're going to immobilize yourself?
So did he...
Anyway, it's a Florida man thing, so
why are we surprised? That's right. It doesn't need to make sense. It doesn't need to make sense at all.
Thank you, Florida, for giving us some awesomeness there.
I want to talk about some of the generosity going on during this during the corona outbreaks here.
Whiplash segue.
Yeah.
Alert.
Oh yeah. Well, it's the last.
Segue
it's the last segment. So it's the last segment.
We need a sound for that or something. Some sort of effect,
Oh, like just a bullwhip. No, that seems weird.
Or just like somebody cracking their back.
Yes,
there's got to be some Joe Biden thing that's like
millennium.
Does that work?
No, that's more like your stories.
Oh, okay. Well, this is you guys when I'm telling a story, so.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's the appropriate reaction.
You're right.
I mean, there's always.
How dare you?
Yeah, but that's not a whiplash.
No, it's not really.
You need like the Millennium Falcon jumping to Lightspeed or something.
That's good. That's good.
Oh yeah, because that's not going to get us copyright infringed.
No, not at all. Not at all. So a gentleman.
One of those minor movies that nobody cares about anymore from the 70s and 80s.
So this is Patterson, New Jersey. Jeff, or Ozzy, have you been to Patterson, New Jersey?
I have been to Patterson.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I have not.
Nice, man. Nice. Patterson, New Jersey. Why haven't you, Jeff?
It's New Jersey.
Oh. Where is Patterson, New Jersey?
It's in New Jersey.
I need to know a location here.
It's north of me.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. Everything's north of you.
Right. I'm not wrong.
So this gentleman, minor Instagram celebrity, Jay Mazzini, he gifted 4 fast food employees $10,000 each with cash. Basically a tip for doing what they do.
Patterson is right outside New Jersey. Jeez.
Okay. Well, right.
Right outside of New York.
Okay.
Oh, so basically up where Wayne is.
Yes, it's actually right near Wayne. Yeah.
Really nice.
So maybe I have been to Wayne because I've been to Patterson.
I looked at the map. I've been through Wayne, which is weird.
Is that when you were driving in to get Cat's Deli?
No.
Your Cat's Deli sample?
To watch Cats when you were driving in to watch Cats.
I wasn't driving. Alyssa was.
Oh, that's right. Alyssa was driving around the block while you got your sample.
Right.
From
it was good.
The Italian Frenchman that ejected from an airplane while he was slaughtering
at the Jewish deli.
The Jewish deli.
My goodness. You people.
And walls were coming down everywhere.
Ronald Reagan was there.
We had to get it in. We hadn't got it in yet this episode.
I know. I was hoping I'd make it through an entire episode without you bringing it up. But no. We've thrown the focus off the generosity. Do you have other stories of this? Yeah, so there was another story of a gentleman who pulled into a donut shop and did the same thing. And offered to pay $10,000 for a donut, which is kind of cool.
I I saw a post here, I believe it was here in Michigan. I didn't verify it, but someone was saying there was an older gentleman. He was actually a veteran standing at an Aldi and was just had a stack of $100 bills and was handing a $100 bill to each person that came in the door and was saying, "Hey, I'm single. I've got money. I'm buying your groceries this week," kind of thing.
Dude, that's incredible.
Now, I have to say, it may be a sad sign of the times that I was a little jaded to the point of like, I would check those $100 bills, if someone just standing at the door handing out $100 bills. But
maybe.
But I wanted to believe the story, and there wasn't anything in the news about fake $100 bills. So,
yeah, it's like this Instagram celebrity giving 10 grand to the people at the 40 grand out, and I'm like, he's doing that just for the bit.
So here's a question. I mean, obviously, some people are just doing it for the bit. Some people are like this guy. This guy wasn't doing it for the bit because he's not some Instagram celebrity. He's just standing at a store. The question is, does it matter if they're just doing it for the bit as long as it's getting out there?
So let's pull back the curtain a little bit. We've done the same thing on the show. We did the same thing on the show.
Wait, you gave away $10,000?
No, you gave away $10,000
and I'm not getting
and I didn't get it.
Sorry, no.
What?
Revolt. Guillotines right now.
The show
Contact that Frenchman.
Eject.
Yeah. How do I eject you from here?
So, well, you can't because the seats aren't tied together. Apparently, there's a fault.
Well played. Well played.
Tying back the stories. So
I'm gonna go get some cat burgers.
We've donated as a show. We've donated up to, I think it's 500 now, of those ear protectors for the nurses.
Yes.
And we had the discussion in the back, behind prying eyes in our private texts. Was this exploiting the situation? Because we're posting it up on our Facebook page, we're posting it, on Instagram and on YouTube and stuff like that we're giving this stuff away and we're exploiting it a little bit. I don't want to say exploiting, I would say using it for marketing reasons, I guess. Now, our intent was not to do that from the get-go. Our intent was to do that out of the generosity of our hearts. And it turned into, hey, we can do this for the show. It's something great to talk about on the show, and it's something great to do. Let's combine the two. Is it wrong when people do that?
Depends on what definition of exploit you're going to use, I guess. There is to make productive use of, or there's to make use of meanly or unfairly for one's own advantage.
We're definitely the second definition.
No, Ozzy, no.
Oh, never mind.
Why does this always have to be the second one?
No, I think, yeah, that's the question is, can you do something both? Can you kind of do a humble brag and do something both for a good reason, but also use it to get your name
that furthers the brand? Yeah. And that's what we were doing.
And I think I think the fine line is between seeing a need, meeting it, and kind of quietly putting some, hey, we're doing this.
Yeah.
And then how do I even describe it? Not causing a need just to meet it, but
Ooh. You mean being the government?
Well, I wasn't going to go down that rabbit. But there's
creating a problem to fix it.
There's meeting a need, not even creating a problem to fix it, but the way that you're fixing the problem, coming in and doing something completely needless and stupid and making it
for self-gain.
Making a big deal about it,
Yeah.
And it's a conundrum that a lot of leaders face, right? If a president rolls up
horribly,
exactly. Well, and because they can never pick. Whatever they do, they're screwed, right? So if Trump Trump walks into the hurricane center down there, people complain that he's down there doing it for publicity and he's interfering with rescue work. But if Bush flies over Katrina instead of rolling his motorcade through the middle of it, he doesn't want to be. He's distancing himself from these evil, untouchable people, and he can't, and he doesn't really care about them because he's just flying over. You know what I'm saying? So if you choose to stay away and let the workers work, you're screwed. If you go to the ground zero and interfere with the work, quote unquote, then you're screwed. So at a big scale, that's what a lot of people face. You're always going to get overanalyzed for what you do. So
that's
a good question.
I don't know. It's something obviously we've been.
I think it's a case by case. you can kind of tell what people are exploiting and what people aren't just by.
And if anyone watching on YouTube right now is curious about what we've been making, these are I'll hold it in the picture here. These are the ear protectors. These hold the masks away from the ears.
Again, these are for masks with the elastic behind the ear strap. So if you got a tie-on mask, these don't do anything for you.
Yeah, they don't do anything for you.
But then again, your ears aren't being hurt.
It keeps the elastics off the ears and keeps it from cutting into the skin.
Yes.
So, I don't know if they work. I've never worn one.
They do.
Good. Fantastic. Fantastic.
Because we're handing them out.
Because we're handing them out. So, I actually was running off another batch last night, Jeff, to send more to you, and I had issues with the printer. The printer keeps clogging. So
excuses. So when are you going to just start 3D printing ventilators?
Like Elon Musk.
What's the matter with you?
Like
so
Elon
okay,
Musk.
So let's talk about this real quick because we're here. So, picture was posted on Facebook.
We have no other choice.
No, I know we don't. We don't have a choice.
I'm gonna drag you down with me.
You're coming with me.
And that's the show. See ya.
So CNN and the state of California came out the other day and said, "Hey, Elon Musk hasn't delivered on the ventilators he promised he was going to give on the 23rd of March." And Elon Musk fires back, "Hey, I gave those. I delivered 1,000 of them already," and proceeds to show pictures of doctors and stuff with boxes of ventilators and or
with
boxes of medical equipment,
Tesla.
boxes of medical equipment marked Tesla. And he then shares like thank you emails from the hospitals for what they've done and everything. And then CNN fires back with a story this morning saying that he didn't actually deliver ventilators. He delivered CPAP machines and BiPAP machines. And so I don't know what's going on there. Something hinky's going on. Whether Elon's trying to get some publicity and exploit a situation, like literally exploit it in a bad way, or
what's the difference between a ventilator and a CPAP?
The way it
aren't they essentially? I mean, I know what a CPAP is and I know how it works.
It was in the one article.
I'm not 100% on the ventilator. What the difference is?
So
I think
my
you're
understanding,
you're intubated with a ventilator. Like it's going down your throat. Where obviously a CPAP, you're not.
So I guess there's much more sensors on the ventilator in order to make sure that the humidity is proper and the oxygen, the amount of oxygen is proper. And they were saying in the article that you could use a CPAP or a BiPAP on patients that are not too bad.
Right.
But you can't just use one of those as a ventilator. If that makes sense. So Jeff, you have the details of the difference between the two?
Well, I was trying to read this article. This article says it offers the difference. We'll see here. So in March, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration sent a letter with guidance to healthcare providers treating coronavirus that said CPAP and BiPAP machines may be used to support patients with respiratory insufficiency provided appropriate monitoring is available. So that doesn't really tell me the difference. I think one of the things is that it says that non-invasive ventilation, so CPAPs or BiPAPs versus being intubated, increases the risk of infectious transmission. And I'm not really sure why.
Okay.
So we don't really know what he sent.
So he sent CPAPs and BiPAPs. I've got the CNN business article.
That's
here.
what I'm looking at.
Okay.
As well.
And that doesn't give you any information there?
Literally, the one section is headlined "The Difference Between a Ventilator, CPAP, and BiPAP."
And it really doesn't tell anything.
The only useful information is that the CPAPs and BiPAPs could spread the virus more. I'm guessing it's because it's external ventilating and it can leak and it's not going
it's
down
not actually
your throat
forcing the air into the lungs.
It's not self-contained, right?
Yeah.
So it can lead to cross-contamination. That's my only guess. So as unsurprisingly, CNN does not do an amazing job of journalism and go into depths about what they're talking about. But to be fair, that's every news organization.
What are you saying, Jeff?
Point. That's every news organization at this point, not just CNN.
Oh, okay. Well, there we have it. Guys, that's it for this week.
Boom.
Just like that. And on a high note. And on Elon.
So when am I getting my 10,000 or whatever
right?
that you were...
What
What did you say that you got?
What?
You said you had some money or something that you were sending our way.
Right? I wish. www.thefrontporchshow.com, iTunes, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, wherever you like to find your podcasts or your online content, we are there. Check us out on YouTube if you want to actually see our faces and party with us. You probably don't want to, but we're there.
It's a party.
It's a party. Is it a good party though?
It's like a party if you invited Joe Biden.
Wait, no.
Because you're going to get the weird stories. You're going to get the stuff about the Berlin Wall.
You're going to get...
in the end, you're going to get disappointment.
It's true. And you might even get Ozzy and I giving each other Vulcan hand signals. I mean...